Hello, and welcome back to The Power of Now, a guide to spiritual enlightenment with Gilda and Barbara. Today, we're doing a book study on A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose, written by Eckhart Tolle, and we hope that you have your copy so that you can follow along. Today, we are in Chapter 10, Section 9, A New Earth, Enjoyment. My name is Barbara Wainwright, and I'm here with Gilda Simonet. Welcome, Gilda.
Thank you. Enjoyment. The peace that comes with surrendered action turns to a sense of aliveness when you actually enjoy what you are doing. Enjoyment is the second modality of awakened doing. On the new earth, enjoyment will replace wanting as the motivating power behind people's actions. Wanting arises from the ego's delusion that you are a separate fragment that is disconnected from the power that lies behind all creation. Through enjoyment, you link into that universal creative power itself.
When you make the present moment instead of past and future the focal point of your life, your ability to enjoy what you do, and with it the quality of your life, increases dramatically. Joy is the dynamic aspect of being. When the creative power of the universe becomes conscious of itself, it manifests joy. You don't have to wait for something meaningful to come into your life so that you can finally enjoy what you do. There's more meaning and joy than you will ever need. The waiting to start living syndrome is one of the most common delusions of the unconscious state. Expansion and positive change on the outer level is much more likely to come into your life if you can enjoy what you are already doing, instead of waiting for some change so that you can start enjoying what you do. Don't ask your mind for permission to enjoy what you do. All you will get is plenty of reasons why you can't enjoy it now. Not now, the mind will say. Can't you see I'm busy? There's no time. Maybe tomorrow you can start enjoying. That tomorrow will never come unless you begin enjoying what you are doing now.
When you say, I enjoy doing this or that, it is really a misperception. It makes it appear that joy comes from what you do, but that is not the case. Joy does not come from what you do. It flows into what you do, and thus into this world from deep within you. The misperception that joy comes from what you do is normal, and it is also dangerous, because it creates a belief that joy is something that can be derived from something else, such as an activity or thing. You then look to the world to bring you joy, happiness, but it cannot do that. This is why many people live in constant frustration. The world is not giving them what they think they need.
Then what is the relationship between something that you do and the state of joy? You will enjoy any activity in which you are fully present, any activity that is not just a means to an end. It isn't the action you perform that you really enjoy, but the deep sense of aliveness that flows into it. That aliveness is one with who you are. This means that when you enjoy doing something, you are really experiencing the joy of being in its dynamic aspect. That's why anything you enjoy doing connects you with the power behind all creation.
Here is a spiritual practice that will bring empowerment and creative expansion into your life. Make a list of a number of everyday routine activities that you perform frequently. Include activities that you may consider uninteresting, boring, tedious, irritating, or stressful. But don't include anything that you hate or detest doing. That's a case either for acceptance or for stopping what you do. The list may include traveling to and from work, buying groceries, doing your laundry, or anything that you find tedious or stressful in your daily work. Then, whenever you are engaged in those activities, Let them be a vehicle for alertness. Be absolutely present in what you do and sense the alert, alive stillness within you, in the background of the activity. You will soon find that what you do in such a state of heightened awareness, instead of being stressful, tedious, or irritating, is actually becoming enjoyable. To be more precise, what you are enjoying is not really the outward action, but the inner dimension of consciousness that flows into the action. This is finding the joy of being in what you are doing. If you feel your life lacks significance or is too stressful or tedious, it is because you haven't brought that dimension into your life yet. Being conscious in what you do has not yet become your main aim.
And, I think that becoming conscious in what you do does create an environment for anyone who's around you that is pleasant, and it spreads like, I don't know, it's like an energy vibe. The vibe spreads when you are bringing through that spiritual energy. When you're present, you're tapping into and bringing in a spiritual energy that it's healing, it's comforting, it's inspiring. And you can bring that energy into anything that you're doing. That's what he's saying here. If you're doing the dishes or you're doing your laundry, if you stop and tap in to all that is first and bring that energy through into what you're doing, folding socks even can be joyful. It can be an experience where you enjoy it because you're getting to connect to your supply of energy and creativity, and the love energy that's in that space is palpable. So I just love what he's saying here. Find the joy of being in what you're doing.
And try to ignore the ego that's still trying to go on in the background, convincing you how boring and tedious that is to fold socks or whatever it is that you're doing. Because
Yeah.
that's what happens, right? Like if you're not connected to being,
Yeah.
your ego's just going on a loop of like, oh, this
Yeah.
is so
Ex-
annoying, this is so boring.
exactly. And it's like I do the dishes in my house. I request that people leave their dishes in the sink for me because that's my time when I connect with all that is, and I make sure those dishes are spotless. You know? I don't have to, I don't have to worry about somebody else being upset about having to do the dishes, number one. So I don't have any of that negative energy in the house. And then the second thing is I don't have to worry about somebody doing a poor job of cleaning the dishes because they really don't want to do it in the first place. Instead, I get to do the dishes because I get to connect when I'm doing them. It's just really all about being present, I think. The new earth arises as more and more people discover that their main purpose in life is to bring the light of consciousness into this world, and so use whatever they do as a vehicle for consciousness.
The joy of being is the joy of being conscious. Awakened consciousness then takes over from ego and begins to run your life. You may then find that an activity that you have been engaged in for a long time naturally begins to expand into something much bigger when it becomes empowered by consciousness.
Some of those people who, through creative action, enrich the lives of many others simply do what they enjoy doing most without wanting to achieve or become anything through that activity. They may be musicians, artists, writers, scientists, teachers, or builders, or they may bring into manifestation new social or business structures, enlightened businesses. Sometimes for a few years, their sphere of influence remains small, and then it can happen that suddenly or gradually a wave of creative empowerment flows into what they do, and their activity expands beyond anything they could have imagined and touches countless others. In addition to enjoyment, an intensity is now added to what they do, and with it comes a creativity that goes beyond anything an ordinary human could accomplish.
But don't let it go to your head, because up there is where a remnant of ego may be hiding. You are still an ordinary human. What is extraordinary is what comes through you into this world. But that essence you share with all beings. The 14th century Persian poet and Sufi master Hafiz expresses this truth beautifully. I am a hole in a flute that the Christ breath moves through. Listen to this music. I love that part because he's basically saying to pay attention to the music that's coming through the hole in the flute. Like when you tap in, you can actually envision what he's saying. I think that's beautiful. You can almost feel it, but be careful because the ego will be up there trying to insert its dominance, if you will.
Yes, yes. And I mean, he talks about how your creativity could overnight turn into something really magnificent, and you could touch a lot of people with your message or your talent, whatever, beyond anything an ordinary human could accomplish. But then he says, watch out for that ego because you're still an ordinary human being. However, you have allowed spirit to come and work its creative magic through you. And the ego would love to jump on that and go, yeah, look what I did. But the truth is that I didn't do it. The truth is that spirit did it. Spirit, that's where the creativity comes from. It comes from the spiritual realm. And as a human being, we have the capacity and the opportunity to allow that creative spirituality to flow through us like the air through the flute to create music. And it's a beautiful experience when that creativity comes through. And you could be simply folding socks and allowing that beautiful, vibrant, creative energy to flow through you while you fold socks, while you do the dishes, while you do anything that seems tedious to the ego. It's like, no, this is an opportunity for me to connect and allow that energy to flow through in what I'm doing. So I think that it's important for us as human beings to realize that at any moment you can make that choice. You can choose to tune in to the spiritual realm, where there's peace beyond understanding, where there's creativity that's infinite supply, and you can tap into it anytime, doing anything, and allow that energy to flow right through you and be expressed in the world.
I know that one of the times for me that I like to tap in is when I'm sitting there at the train tracks. Like the old me would have sat there and be like, oh man, like the train, and be just so bothered and annoyed and just like waiting for it to go by and, just being super annoyed by it all. Whereas now the universe is giving me, this opportunity to sit with myself and to breathe and to look around and to hear the breeze through my window and hear the birds chirping and, just all the beautiful things that, are around you that you don't really notice because you're on the go. So I, usually like to take that opportunity to tap in.
Yes, it is a great opportunity to tap in and just be present and just enjoy the moment. And like you said, pay attention to the sounds that you're hearing, pay attention to the energy of the environment or the place that you're in. And then, like Eckhart says, if it's something you're not liking, leave it, change it, do something, but you don't have to keep doing something that you absolutely don't like to do. You can leave.
Because I know sometimes when I'm having anxiety, it's hard to tap in, but then I just have to remind myself, like, hey, you're gonna make it worse for yourself if you don't tap in because that ego is lingering, and it's ready to come out at any moment.
I think that's especially true when you're first starting down a spiritual path. The ego's just right there, ready to jump in at any moment. And the longer you're on a spiritual path, the easier, the more frequent you remember to stay present and to call in that present moment so that you can enjoy life. Acknowledging and being present in the moment and going inside and enjoying your experience of what is joyful. I think sometimes others will be blown away, like, wow, how did you do that? Well, the truth is, you didn't do it. The truth is that you allowed that energy to create through you. Congratulations, if that's you. I don't know that a human being ever gets 1000% or 100% enlightened, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of like parables or stories that Eckhart will tell, and it'll like entail like a monk, and it shows how like the monk, they went through it all, but then there was like that one last thing, and it was just finally like, ugh, like the monk was finally at their wits' end. Like even that was possible for them.
Yeah,
You know?
it's like the 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 trials and tribulations continue to pile up. It happens. And at some point, if you're hungry, you're angry, or you're lonely, or you're flat out tired, it's easy for the ego to jump in at those moments. It's really important to do self-care and make sure that you feel nurtured and loved and you are getting the right nutrition and the right rest so that you can be present the majority of your day. Until next week, make sure that you take good care of yourself so that you can be fully present in any moment, no matter what unfolds for you in your life right now. Have a great week. Bye now, everyone.
Bye.
If you've enjoyed this podcast and you'd like to experience a deeper connection, we have two beautiful options. You can work with Gilda as your coach to apply these teachings in your real life. Or if you feel called to help others transform, you can become a certified professional coach through Wainwright Global. To learn more, join our Facebook group, The Power of Now, A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment with Gilda and Barbara. Send us a direct message, just type the word coach, and we'll reply with the details and help you choose the best fit.